What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about the details of the slide release. So we're going to be talking about how you guys can use a slide release, when you should be using a slide release, and then obviously how it can build into other routes like a fade route, like a slant route, and then obviously all the other routes like a post route, comeback, whatever it may be, okay? So I hope this video will give you guys some value. I hope it teaches you a few new things about the slide release, what you guys can do to create some separation against press coverage in this catch technique DB, because you guys will have to face that situation if you want to play at the next level, okay? So I hope this video helps, but also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want a 2-week-long on-field wide receiver training program to improve your route running in 10 days, fellas, check out that very first link in the description for our route running Bible. Like I said, you'll get a 2-week-long route running schedule with all the specific drills you need to do broken down into sets and reps, and we include a 49-minute long video on 20 different press releases, when to use each release, and then drills to work on each one with sets and reps. So route running Bible, very first link in the description, fellas. Let's get started. So first clip we're looking at here is Jerry Jeudy working this slide release. So let's play it full speed. So he does a great job of sliding this DB off the platform, throwing that 1-2, and then coming off. Now, the thing that I want to talk about here is, again, everybody's, I'm sure, has seen this slide release. Everybody's heard of a slide release. But the thing that a lot of people like to say from the DB perspective is that they like to play the what-if game, right? So, like, when Jeudy slides to the outside, and we're going to talk about this, he does a great job of using range. DBs always go, oh, well, if he slides like that, I'm just going to say to the inside. That's a dead indicator that you're going to just slide and run right into me. Now, the only problem with that is that this slide is built off of a fade, right? The slide is built off of a fade. We could slide and very easily just go to the outside, and that's the next clip we're going to be looking on and how it all looks the exact same. So as a DB, when you come off with that slide release, or as a receiver, when you slide that DB off that platform, you're forcing him to make a decision. That's got to be the mindset. This slide release is very reactionary, and you're kind of reacting off of what this DB does. So you're forcing him to make a decision to either shuffle with you or stay to the inside. And whichever one he does, I feel that he can be wrong, right? So let's talk about this. So when the slide release, when you guys slide to the outside, it's super important you don't get too close to this wide receiver. If you get too close to him and you slide and you get like right up on him, he's just going to be able to get hands and he's going to be able to play this thing from his base. By making a decision, you want to use this range, right? So a lot of receivers on this slide release, they'll slide and they'll go too lateral. They'll slide and they'll stay behind the line of scrimmage. All this DB is going to do is shuffle with you. Even if you make a move, you still got to get to here. And this DB is past the line of scrimmage, obviously, so it's going to be easier for him to make a play on this thing. So you got to make sure that you threaten him somewhat vertical. When you guys slide off the line, Jeudy does a perfect example of going at almost like a 45-degree angle, because this is the range where if he wants to get hands, a lot of people will say, oh, well, the only way you can stop this is get hands on the receiver. He has to come at you to get hands in this case. He can't sit there and get hands and keep his base. He has to leave his base. He has to address you, and when he addresses you and he's off balance, that's when we work those hand techniques, a.k.a. setting a trap for this guy. Or what he can do is exactly what he does right here. He's going to shuffle with you. He's going to try to stay disciplined. He's going to try to watch your hips. And then I take care of him with this crossover. I hit him with this 1-2, and you see how much Jeudy sells with that upper half. Shoulders and hips are both going towards the outside. This is the spot that we want to get to. He's throwing his hip with this break. Toes are staying forward, weights on the inside arch, but that is what's going to get this DB to go, because that is what sells fade. You guys got to threaten him on that 45-degree angle, sell with your entire upper half to make him sit fade, shift that weight to the outside leg, and then if you don't open up your toes, you keep your toe closed like Jeudy does, you can burst off of there. And again, with this slide release, fellas, trust me, this DB knows he got beat, so I got to take advantage of it and really make sure that we accelerate. The ball is coming right here. It is a race to that ball. Make sure that we make that DB pay for trying to shuffle with you and trying to watch your hips. Now we're going to take a look at how this can build. Let's watch it again full speed one more time. So now the slide with the double up, I only like that on a slant, but this is how it can build into a fade, right? So here we go. Kind of the same scenario. Now, Davante Adams is one of the best in the game at this, giving this little hezzy fake, making all his routes look the same, and then getting off the routes. Let's talk about it, right? Because all those geniuses love to say, oh, well, if he slides to the outside, I'm just going to sit right here. So watch what happens. So Adams slides to the outside, takes off. It is that easy, fellas. The second that DB wants to get greedy and sit to the inside, fine by me, right? Now, again, like let's say you got to run a slant, and let's say you slide, and let's say he does sit right there, and then you run into him, and he plays this thing well. Fine, you're covered. You lost a rep, but that sets up other things going forward in the game, right? Because if he wants to sit there like this, he thinks he plays it well, he's feeling himself a little bit. You know that the next time you slide, he's going to want to sit just right there. He's thinking, oh, I've seen this before. I'm just going to sit. And then we beat him with speed to the outside. You got to make all your releases look the same and all your releases build off of each other. Going into a game, you shouldn't just sit there and be like, okay, well, I got 20 different things in my head. I'm just gonna guess the second I get up to the line. No, you know all 20 releases, you know 30 releases, but when you get to a game, you have about 5 or 6 that all build off each other based off the routes in your offense and based off the defensive looks that you're going to see. If you got a team that plays a lot of inside shape press coverage, and now here's the deal. A lot of you guys are in high school, and a lot of you guys say that, oh, all I see is zone coverage, and 100%, I get that, and that's a lot of what I work with my high school receivers. But when you guys play those big-time teams, you're going to be see in press coverage, right? One of the best ways to get recruited if you're from a small town or maybe a high school that doesn't have that many guys who are recruitable guys, when you play one of those big schools and they got a corner who's a 4-star, 5-star, 3-star recruit who's got offers, he's going to come down and try to test you, impress you. And if you can show out against that guy, college is going to be like, oh man, look at that kid. He's torching our 3-star guy that we've already offered. Maybe we should look at him, right? So that's why you guys got to know these situations. You got to be prepared for all these situations. It's not just about going out there running a lazy dig route because all you see is zone. Be prepared. You got to know these concepts, right? So again, back to the slide release, and again, that's why it's important, fellas. But now back to this release. So Adams does a great job of when he slides, he gives this little skip. He's in the same range, right? But all we're doing is getting a read on this DB. All we're trying to do is see, okay, if he sits to the inside and he gives me the outside, I'm just going to take off and go, right? Especially when I got a fade route called. Now let's talk about a situation where if he were to slide and this DB were to go with him. Let's say he slid and he shot way out. This DB shot way out to the outside. He's trying to protect the fade. Maybe I've hit him a couple times with that fade. And let's say the fade route is still called. I would just give him maybe a 1-2. I give him an in-out off of a reaction. Again, you guys got to have a plan off the line, but you also got to have a reactionary plan off the line. And we're going to show this example here in a second, but he jumps to the outside. Fine. I take the inside release. I work to restack and I still go run the fade. And then maybe the next time it's called, I do the exact same move. I hit him with a 1-2 and I go run a slant. This DB can't win on this slide release if you guys use it correctly. If you guys attack that range and you threaten him vertical, if you don't go lateral, and if you don't get too close to him to where he could get hands from his base, make him come to you or make him sit to the inside or make him shuffle with you. And you got to be able to react to all three of those situations. This is a great example of what Adams can do when you guys slide. If he wants to sit to the inside, fine. I take off, I put my head down, and then I'm late with my hands over the top, and I go finish this play. It's a great example of how to set up a slide release. Okay, so now let's talk about the situation again. This is also going to be like kind of a fade route in this case, but this is where the DB slides with me, right? So he goes with me, I give him that jab to the inside. Bam, it's all good. He doesn't sit to the inside. I can take that outside release, and then I go make a play on the ball, right? So if this receiver, again, this DB's outside shade, so he could be working a situation, and you'll see this a lot, especially out of the slot receiver position. He's working a situation where he's got help to the inside. Fine, that's no problem. But if I slide to the outside and he doesn't sit right here and I still got to run a fade, I can't just slide and then go because he's going to get right into my hips and he's going to force me to the outside. I got to slide right here and then I got to give him something that holds him to the inside. I want to sell slant. I want to get him to hesitate just for a second. If I could get his feet to move and I create some space to the outside, I should win this rep or at least give myself a chance to win this rep. So again, let's recap. When you slide and he sits to the inside, just go. If you got to run a fade. If you got to run a fade and you slide and he goes with you, give him a move to the inside and then let's push up vertical. It's all about reacting, fellas. Releases is all about reacting off of what this guy does right here. What the DB, how he's going to play it, we got to be able to react off of him, especially with this slide. Now, the last thing I want to address is how you guys can get more explosion with this slide, right? So what a lot of people like to do is they either take a, like I call it a prep step or a balance step with this front foot. Then what a lot of people like to do is they kick behind with their back foot. And that's what this receiver does right here. So you see how when he goes, he kicks behind with this foot. That's to create some explosion so he could actually slide out of there and gain some distance. What a lot of people will do is they'll line up just like this and they'll literally just slide. They'll like shuffle with just their back foot. And it's a weak move. It doesn't have any explosion and you're not threatening this DB at all. It's clearly a shuffle. You're not threatening him vertical at all. So this little kick step or this prep step, as I like to call it, creates some explosion so you could actually get to this spot. If he were to just shuffle from right here, he'd probably get to about here and then it would just be it'd be a worthless play. You're not going to have any burst off the line. It's not going to be sudden. You want to be patient with this release, but you want to have a sudden explosion right when that ball snapped, and then we're off this thing and we're ready to make a move, okay? So those are some of the two main things for that slide release, fellas. You got to make sure that we're able to react, know when to work it, and know the situation that you're in, okay? I only like this slide route or this slide release on a fade and in a slant, and that kind of Devontae Adams one where we talked about where he just slid and go, that's a great one to use when you guys got to run like a comeback or when you guys got to run like a stop route or when you guys got to maybe try to restack and run a post. That's a good one to use. You can't be sliding, making all these moves like this example right here, slide and giving that jab to the inside, then going and then go and running like a timing comeback or a timing 10-yard out. It just won't work that way. The timing of the play does not work with the quarterback. You got to make sure you know the situation, know what read you are on the play, and know the timing of the play to structure your release accordingly. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job sliding, kicking him out wide, and then giving that reaction where you give that jab to the inside, giving yourself a chance to go make a play on this ball. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Always appreciate the feedback. Always appreciate the things you guys have to say. It helps me fuel and give me new idea for videos. Give me new ideas for videos on this page. So I definitely appreciate it. Always appreciate the feedback. And again, fellas, over an hour and a half's worth of content, 2-week wide receiver route running training program, all the specific drills with sets and reps broken broken down for you. And we include a 49-minute long video on 20 different press releases, when to use those releases, and then the specific drills to work on each one. Hope you guys could check that out. Very first link in the description. I'll see you guys next time.